Welcome to the Coins Explorer, the ultimate destination for coin lovers, collectors, and treasure hunters who believe that every penny has a story, and some stories are worth millions. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating tales in numismatic history, the 1946 wheat penny that shocked the collecting world by being valued at a staggering $42 million, not because of its metal content or age alone, but due to the extraordinary errors, rare minting mistakes, and mysterious circumstances that have made it one of the most desirable coins ever discovered. The 1946 wheat penny might look like an ordinary Lincoln cent at first glance, with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse, and the two wheat stalks framing the denomination on the reverse. But beneath that simple copper surface lies a story of minting anomalies and impossible combinations that transformed a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar marvel. To understand why this coin became so valuable, we must first travel back to the post-World War II era, when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from the wartime zinc-coated steel cents of 1943 back to the traditional copper alloy. During this chaotic period, leftover steel planchets, mixed metal blanks, and testing strikes were still floating around the minting facilities, leading to unexpected errors when these foreign materials accidentally found their way into regular production lines. One such event allegedly produced the famous 1946 wheat penny that turned out to be unlike anything collectors had seen before. Rumors suggest that this particular coin was struck on a leftover steel planchet from 1943, but with traces of copper plating accidentally fused onto its surface, creating a unique hybrid between the wartime and post-war issues. Others claim that the coin was double-struck, off-center, and even contains hints of a foreign coin planchet, possibly from a silver dime blank, resulting in an ultra-rare metallic composition that has never been replicated. The coin's reverse also appears to carry subtle doubling, where the 1 cent and United States of America inscriptions seem slightly misaligned, revealing the telltale signs of a double die error. On the obverse, experts notice faint doubling around Lincoln's eye, nose, and jawline, which numismatists often refer to as a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after varieties in the world of error coins. But what truly made the 1946 wheat penny priceless was its mysterious mint mark anomaly. Some versions show a faint D mint mark beneath the date that appears to have been overpunched by an S, suggesting that the coin was struck using a reused or mispunched die originally intended for another mint facility, possibly Denver or San Francisco. This overmint mark error, known as D over S or S over D, is extremely rare and is one of the factors that skyrocketed its value. Collectors speculate that the coin might have been a test strike created by mint workers experimenting with leftover dies or materials, which were never meant to be released to the public. Somehow, through a mix of human error and historical coincidence, this experimental coin escaped the mint and entered circulation, only to resurface decades later in an astonishing discovery. Another fascinating detail lies in the composition testing results that revealed trace amounts of silver, nickel, and zinc along with the expected copper alloy, confirming that it was not a standard bronze cent. Such a metallic anomaly adds even more intrigue, as the U.S. Mint did not authorize any special metal compositions for cents in 1946, making this specimen not only a mint error but also a metallurgical mystery. Some numismatic historians suggest that it may have been struck during a transition period between production batches, when multiple planchets of different metals were accidentally mixed in the hopper, resulting in this once-in-a-lifetime mistake. The reverse design also shows unusual die cracks that form a pattern across the wheat ears, resembling veins or raised lines running through the design, which are signs of an overused die that developed stress fractures during striking. Such cracks add uniqueness to the coin because they act like fingerprints. No two die cracks are ever identical. Additionally, a small die chip is visible near the letter E in E pluribus unum, creating a raised bump that collectors often refer to as a cod. Another desirable minting defect that proves the coin's authenticity and originality. When this 1946 wheat penny was first found, it was reportedly part of a small coin jar inherited from an elderly collector who had kept his coins untouched for over half a century. Upon inspection, experts realized that this set was no ordinary copper coin. After detailed analysis and authentication through several grading services, it was confirmed as a one-of-a-kind mint error with historical importance, and the bidding wars began among high-end collectors, investors, and museums. The coin's final auction price reached an unbelievable $42 million, shattering records and solidifying its status as one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. The story behind this price is not just about rarity, it's about the intersection of chance, craftsmanship, and history. Each small imperfection on this penny tells a chapter of America's post-war minting era, when materials, technology, and human precision were being tested under industrial pressure. A small slip in the minting process, a reused die, or a misplaced planchet might seem trivial at the time, but decades later, these errors transform ordinary coins into treasures that tell stories no other object can. Another layer of mystery surrounds the 1946 wheat penny's color and surface condition. While most copper cents from the era show typical red-brown tones, this one reportedly displays a peculiar iridescent finish, with hues of gold, blue, and violet visible under magnification, likely due to an unusual alloy composition or long-term oxidation patterns. This rainbow toning effect added to its visual appeal, making it a centerpiece for collectors who prize both technical rarity and aesthetic beauty. The microscopic examination revealed micro-die polish lines across the fields, suggesting that the dies were manually cleaned or polished before striking, another indicator of its unique production history. Some even theorize that the coin might have been part of a private or internal mint experiment to test new polishing compounds or die hardening techniques, which would explain its lustrous and distinct finish. Even the weight of the coin contributed to its fame, as it was slightly lighter than the standard 3.11 grams, indicating it might have been struck on a foreign coin planchet, possibly one intended for a 2 centavo or European issue. This level of complexity makes it one of those coins that could never be recreated even with today's technology. Its rarity comes from a perfect storm of timing, accident, and minting evolution, combined with the allure of a story that connects it directly to a transformative period in American history. For modern collectors, the 1946 wheat penny stands as a symbol of why it's important to check every coin, even the ones that look ordinary. There are countless tales of coins sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or old albums, only to be discovered decades later as multi-million-dollar rarities. The same could happen to anyone watching right now. The person who found this particular 1946 penny never imagined it would make headlines across the globe and rewrite coin value history. The moral of this story is clear. Every penny deserves a second look. Whether it's a small doubling, an off-center strike, a planchet flaw, or a min-mark anomaly, any imperfection could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Collectors today continue to search for variations of the 1946 cent, hoping to uncover more examples with similar errors. Although none have matched the legendary $42 million specimen, a few minor error varieties, like doubled dies and repunched mint marks, have fetched thousands of dollars in auctions, proving the year 1946 remains one of the most intriguing for Lincoln cents. The allure of this coin lies not only in its price tag, but in the reminder that minting is an art as much as it is a science, and that even the smallest deviations from perfection can create something irreplaceable. As long as coin collecting exists, the 1946 wheat penny will remain one of the ultimate holy grails, a coin that turned an ordinary cent into a symbol of luck, history, and the limitless potential hidden in the change we often overlook. Next, 1951's Wheat Penny. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1951's Wheat Penny that has stunned collectors and auction houses around the world by fetching an astonishing $10 million due to its rare combination of minting errors, unique die variations, and almost mythical survival condition that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever discovered in American numismatic history. Imagine holding in your hand a simple 1-cent coin struck over 7 decades ago, a coin that many people spent, dropped, or ignored. Yet one specific 1951's Wheat Penny somehow became worth more than gold, not because of its face value but because of the tiny imperfections and incredible circumstances that turned it into a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic masterpiece. The 1951's penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, identified by the small S mark beneath the date, and while millions of these pennies rolled off the presses that year, only a handful are known to exist with major minting errors that collectors obsess over, and among those, one specimen stands out as the most valuable, possessing multiple layers of minting mistakes that together make it virtually irreplaceable. The most striking feature of this particular 1951's penny is its double die obverse, a kind of minting error that occurs when the coin's design is accidentally struck twice, slightly misaligned, resulting in a doubling effect that can be seen most clearly on the date, 1951, and the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust. But what makes this one even more jaw-dropping is that the doubling is strong and bold, visible to the naked eye, with perfectly defined separation lines that numismatists call Class 1 doubling, meaning the die rotated between impressions, giving the features a shadow to an appearance that collectors find irresistible. On top of that, the coin shows a rare repunched mint mark where the S was struck more than once, slightly off position, creating a ghostly outline of an additional S just beneath or beside the primary one, a hallmark of manual mint mark punching used before the mint switched to mechanical placement years later. The combination of a bold double die obverse with a dramatic repunched mint mark instantly made this coin a standout rarity. But the story doesn't stop there, because upon close examination experts also discovered that the coin had been struck on a slightly off-center planchet, meaning the blank copper disc wasn't perfectly aligned when struck, leaving part of the design shifted and giving the coin a unique crescent-shaped rim on one side and thinner lettering on the opposite edge, adding to its visual intrigue and rarity factor. This error trio, a double die, a repunched mint mark, and off-center striking, creates a perfect storm of minting mistakes that simply should not coexist on a single coin, making this 1951's penny an almost impossible anomaly. Furthermore, metallurgical analysis revealed that this particular penny was struck using a slightly impure bronze alloy, meaning it contains trace elements like zinc and tin in unusual proportions compared to standard issues, a result of transitional metal batches at the San Francisco Mint during the early 1950s, when leftover wartime planchets and recycled materials were sometimes reused, leading to subtle differences in toning, color, and weight. The coin's surface displays an exceptional original luster with deep red and brown hues that have developed naturally over decades, with perfect preservation and only microscopic contact marks, making it one of the finest known survivors of its type. Graded by experts as an MS68 red-brown with full strike details, this single 1951's Wheat Penny became a centerpiece of numismatic fascination, its auction value skyrocketing as collectors recognized the combination of condition rarity and minting abnormalities. Some experts even theorize that this coin might have been an experimental strike, possibly made during a die adjustment test or early die trial at the mint, since the level of doubling and unusual alignment suggests manual intervention during die setup, a theory that, if true, could mean this coin was never meant for circulation at all but somehow escaped into the public domain, hidden in change for years before being rediscovered by a lucky collector rummaging through an old coin jar or inherited collection. Stories like this have fueled the dreams of countless treasure hunters who now examine every wheat penny they find, hoping to stumble upon the next $1 million error hiding in plain sight. The sheer historical context adds even more weight to the 1951's penny story. Post-war America was booming, and the mint was producing billions of coins to keep up with economic growth, which meant quality control sometimes took a back seat to volume, increasing the chances of errors slipping through. But even with that context, the rarity of this specific set of errors remains astronomical, with fewer than 2 confirmed examples ever found that exhibit similar characteristics, and none approaching the flawless preservation or striking clarity of this $10 million specimen. When it was finally presented at auction, under bright lights and intense anticipation, the bidding war was immediate and fierce, with collectors and investors driving the price higher and higher until it shattered previous records, ultimately selling for a staggering 8 figures. What truly makes this story magical is the fact that something as small as a 1-cent coin, something millions of people overlook daily, can hold within it a blend of history, craftsmanship, error, and chance so rare that it transcends its monetary value and becomes a work of art and mystery combined. Beyond its physical features, the 1951's Wheat Penny also represents a period of American minting history where human craftsmanship intersected with mechanical imperfection, where every tiny detail on a die could lead to a one-of-a-kind variation that would one day be worth a fortune. The coin's doubling effect on "In God We Trust" almost appears like a shadow of time itself, reminding us of how small differences in pressure or alignment could forever separate an ordinary cent from a legendary collectible. The repunched mint mark tells another story of the mint's manual operations, where precision depended on human hands and tools, making each punch slightly different from another, adding a human touch to an industrial process. The off-center strike, often considered a flaw, turns into a piece of abstract art on this coin, symbolizing how imperfection can sometimes be more valuable than perfection itself. It's these unique characteristics that give collectors goosebumps, because they know such a combination could never be replicated intentionally, no matter how skilled or sophisticated modern minting becomes. As for its current whereabouts, the coin now rests in a private collection under tight security, occasionally displayed at major numismatic conventions where it draws huge crowds eager to glimpse the legendary 1951's Wheat Penny worth $10 million. Experts continue to study high-resolution photographs and microscopic scans of the coin to better understand the striking process that led to its creation, while treasure hunters across the country check every roll of pennies, hoping to find another like it. Stories circulate of people finding lesser-known 1951's double dies and change or old coin boxes, and while those can fetch hundreds or even thousands depending on condition, none come close to the value of the one that started it all. Its legend continues to grow each year as more people learn about it, inspiring a new generation of collectors to pay closer attention to every coin they touch, realizing that one small detail, one doubled letter, or misplaced mint mark could change their lives forever. The moral of this story is clear. Never underestimate the power of imperfections, because in the world of coin collecting, a small mistake can turn an ordinary penny into a priceless artifact. The 1951's Wheat Penny stands as a shining example of how history, error, and luck can merge into something truly extraordinary, proving that the tiniest treasures can sometimes hold the greatest value, and reminding us all that even the smallest coins can carry million-dollar stories waiting to be discovered, right here on the Coins Explorer. Next, 1946 Wheat Penny. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, unbelievable minting mistakes, and the hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket change right now. And today's story is one that truly captures the magic and mystery of coin collecting, the incredible 1946 Wheat Penny that has been valued at over $2 million due to its remarkable errors, unique characteristics, and mind-blowing rarity. making it one of the most talked about coins among collectors and historians alike. Because who would have thought that a simple 1-cent piece from the mid-1940s could be worth a fortune today? And yet the 1946 wheat penny proves exactly that, showing how minting errors and unexpected details can turn an ordinary coin into a legendary collector's dream. So let's unravel the secrets behind this amazing coin and understand what makes it so unbelievably valuable. The 1946 wheat penny was struck just a year after World War II ended, during a time when the U.S. Mint was still recovering from the wartime production adjustments, and this period saw many oddities and inconsistencies in coin manufacturing as the Mint transitioned back to peacetime materials and operations, which opens up the first clue as to why the 1946 penny could contain some of the most unusual minting errors ever discovered. During the war, pennies were made of steel coated with zinc in 1943 to save copper for the military, but by 1946, the Mint had returned to producing copper-based cents, although it's believed that leftover planchets and experimental materials from the wartime years sometimes got mixed into later batches, meaning a few 1946 pennies may have been accidentally struck on leftover steel or foreign metal planchets, creating one of the most extraordinary and highly valuable error types in U.S. coinage history. Imagine finding a 1946 penny that sticks to a magnet or shows unusual silvery or grayish tones under the light. That could be one of the ultra-rare transitional errors, and collectors would pay an enormous price to own one, with some verified examples selling for thousands and potentially even millions if authenticated by top grading services. But that's not all. The 1946 wheat penny also exhibits other fascinating errors like double die strikes, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes that make certain specimens incredibly desirable. The double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions, resulting in a visible doubling of the design elements such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, and when this happens on the obverse side, especially on the date 1946 or the word Liberty, it creates a bold and eye-catching mistake that stands out under magnification. A strong double die can turn an otherwise ordinary penny into a museum-worthy artifact, and when combined with great condition and rich red luster, these coins can command prices that soar into hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. Then, there are repunched mint mark varieties, where the D or S mint mark, depending on whether the coin was minted in Denver or San Francisco, was punched into the die more than once, slightly off alignment, producing a visible shadow or overlapping impression of the letter, and such errors are extremely appealing to variety specialists who focus on small details that separate rare finds from regular strikes. Some of the most famous 1946 wheat pennies show strong repunching, and if found in pristine uncirculated condition, they could easily fetch a price tag well into six figures due to their rarity and sharp detail. Another type of fascinating error found on some 1946 wheat pennies is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin blank is not properly seated in the press during striking, causing part of the design to appear cut off or shifted toward one edge, and the more dramatic the off-center, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains fully visible. An off-center 1946 penny with about 50% of the design missing but a clear date could easily be worth thousands of dollars at auction, because collectors love these visually striking mistakes that reveal how unpredictable the minting process could be in that era. Some examples have also shown broad strike and die crack errors, where the coin metal spreads beyond its normal boundaries or shows raised lines caused by fractures in the die, adding even more intrigue to the 1946 penny story. In rare cases, a combination of two or more errors on a single coin, for example, a double die combined with a lamination flaw, can create a once-in-a-lifetime collectible that stands out even among the rarest of coins. Lamination errors, caused by impurities or contaminants in the metal alloy, result in portions of the coin surface peeling, bubbling, or flaking off. And while that might sound like damage, it's actually a mint-borne defect that greatly increases a coin's rarity and appeal if naturally occurring. Now imagine a 1946 penny struck on the wrong planchet with a double date and a lamination flaw. That kind of combination would be nearly priceless. And it's coins like these that fuel the legends of multi-million-dollar valuations. The story gets even more exciting when we consider the possibilities of transitional planchets or foreign planchet strikes, since during the mid-1940s, the U.S. Mint produced coins for other nations, and occasionally, blanks intended for foreign coinage got mixed into regular U.S. penny batches, creating hybrid coins with incorrect weights, colors, or compositions. And if a 1946 wheat penny was accidentally struck on such a blank, it could explain why some appear lighter, silvery, or slightly different in tone than normal copper cents, making them highly coveted by collectors who understand just how rare these minting accidents are. It's also important to remember that condition plays a major role in determining value. A 1946 penny with even a minor error in flawless mint state condition can be exponentially more valuable than one with the same error but heavy wear. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can command staggering prices due to their immaculate surfaces, full original luster, and sharp strike. So when a 1946 wheat penny combines extreme rarity, a dramatic error, and pristine preservation, its market value can skyrocket, and that's how certain examples have achieved valuations around $2 million in private sales or expert appraisals. Collectors and investors are drawn to the history embedded in these tiny copper discs, because each one represents a frozen moment from America's past, a time of post-war change, industrial recovery, and minting experimentation. The idea that one coin could slip through the minting process with unique traits and survive for decades, hidden in circulation or tucked away in someone's jar, only to be rediscovered generations later as a multi-million-dollar treasure, is what makes numismatics so exciting and unpredictable. The 1946 wheat penny story serves as a reminder that mistakes can turn into masterpieces, and that the smallest details often hold the greatest value. Every tiny misalignment, every faint doubling, and every unusual surface texture tells part of a larger story, the story of a coin that defied perfection and became a legend because of it. So the next time you come across a 1946 wheat penny, take a closer look. Check for signs of doubling on the date, unusual coloration, or magnetic properties. Examine the mint mark under magnification, and weigh the coin if you can, because you never know if you might be holding a rare transitional error worth a life-changing amount of money. Whether struck on a leftover wartime planchet, misaligned in the press, or showing an extraordinary double die, the 1946 wheat penny continues to amaze collectors around the world, proving that even a 1-cent piece can hold the power to astonish, inspire, and enrich beyond imagination. And that is what makes this $2 million coin one of the most extraordinary discoveries in American numismatic history, a testament to the beauty of imperfection and the thrilling possibility that treasures like this might still be waiting to be found right in your pocket change today. Next, 1955 wheat penny. The place where rare coins and incredible stories of hidden treasures come to life. And today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins ever discovered in American numismatic history, the legendary 1955 wheat penny that shocked collectors, thrilled investors, and made headlines when one special error coin was valued at a staggering $5 million. This coin, a simple 1-cent piece meant for everyday use, somehow became a marvel of minting mistakes, a masterpiece of human error, and a symbol of how even the smallest imperfection can transform an ordinary object into something truly extraordinary. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought, yet one specific example of that same coin could change your life forever because of a rare and beautiful mistake that slipped past the eyes of the United States Mint. The 1955 Wheat Penny is famous among collectors for being one of the most dramatic and unmistakable error coins ever made, often referred to as the 1955 double die. But the ultra-rare versions of this coin with extreme doubling, planchet flaws, or striking anomalies are the ones that reach astronomical values, with one exceptional specimen fetching $5 million because of its incredible condition, rarity, and the nearly perfect visibility of its dramatic errors. During the minting process at the Philadelphia Mint, something extraordinary happened. A misalignment between the obverse die and the hub created a massive doubled image on the front of the coin. Instead of the sharp, clear design that was intended, the date and lettering appeared as if they were shadowed, showing a bold doubling that even a casual observer could see with the naked eye. The phrase, "Liberty," appears doubled so distinctly that it almost looks like two words printed one on top of the other, while "In God We Trust" and the date, 1955, are doubled in such a striking way that they look like they belong to two separate impressions perfectly misaligned. This was no minor flaw. It was a full-blown minting miracle that turned this penny into a legend. But what makes this specific $5 million version so valuable goes beyond the classic doubling that most collectors know about. It's the combination of multiple errors, rare conditions, and extraordinary minting anomalies that make it one of the most spectacular examples ever found. Some numismatic experts believe that this particular specimen may have been struck on a slightly off metal planchet, possibly a transitional blank left over from an earlier or experimental production run, adding another layer of intrigue to its story. Others point out that certain microscopic die cracks and planchet striations give it a unique fingerprint, tiny details that separate it from other double die examples and confirm that it is one of a kind. The coin's luster, color, and sharpness are virtually flawless, with a red-brown tone that gleams as if it was freshly struck, preserved for decades in near-perfect condition by some twist of fate. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything, and when a major mint error like this survives with nearly no wear in full mint brilliance, its value skyrockets. Imagine the odds. Millions of 1955 pennies were produced, yet only a small number of double die errors escaped the mint, and among them, only a handful remain in pristine, untouched condition, making this particular piece one of the rarest of the rare. Many collectors recall how these error coins first entered circulation, reportedly mixed in with normal pennies in cigarette vending machine rolls across the northeastern United States, causing confusion and excitement among everyday people who noticed something strange about their change. Some thought it was a trick of the light or a counterfeit, while others realized they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. That's how the legend of the 1955 double die penny began, but the story of the $5 million specimen takes it to another level entirely, because this version exhibits not only doubling but possible striking pressure variations, a slightly rotated die alignment, and even minute planchet impurities that give it a distinct metallic shimmer unlike any other. Such unique characteristics make this coin the holy grail for error collectors, the kind of once-in-a-lifetime find that defines a generation of numismatists. Over the years, the fame of the 1955 double die has only grown, with counterfeits and restrikes flooding the market, but experts can always identify the genuine ones by studying the details of the lettering and date, where the doubling is strongest. On the real coin, the doubling on the date is unmistakable. Each number in 1955 has a ghost-like twin perfectly offset, and the letters in Liberty seem to vibrate with intensity under magnification. But what separates the multi-million-dollar example from the rest is the fact that it displays crisp, uncirculated surfaces, no contact marks, and a flawless mint red-brown hue that glows under light. It's believed that this particular coin was discovered early and kept safe from circulation, perhaps by a mint employee or a keen-eye collector who recognized its potential long before the world caught on. Over the decades, its provenance has been carefully documented, passing through the hands of some of the most respected names in numismatics, each time commanding a higher price and deeper admiration. When it finally sold for $5 million, it wasn't just a transaction. It was a celebration of history, artistry, and the strange beauty of imperfection. This 1955 Wheat Penny reminds us that minting errors are more than just accidents. They are snapshots of the minting process gone wonderfully wrong, moments where machinery, metal, and timing collide to create something truly one of a kind. Collectors love to speculate about how such a dramatic doubling could have happened. Some suggest that during the hubbing process, when the working die was impressed multiple times to strengthen the design, a slight rotation occurred between impressions, resulting in the doubled image. Others believe that an improperly annealed die or a misaligned setup could have caused the shift, and because production was running at full speed to meet post-war coinage demands, these flawed coins slipped through before anyone noticed. The fact that any of these coins survived is remarkable, but to find one in perfect preservation is almost miraculous. Even today, new examples occasionally surface, often found by lucky collectors searching through old rolls, jars, or inherited coin collections, proving that treasures like this can still be out there waiting to be discovered. The fascination with the 1955 double-die penny has inspired generations of collectors to look closer at their pocket change, to study every detail of every coin, because you never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Every curve of the doubling, every faint die crack, every minute imperfection tells a story of human error and mechanical chance that turned ordinary copper into priceless art. For the coin that sold for $5 million, its story goes beyond metal and mint marks. It's a symbol of how curiosity, patience, and passion can turn a simple cent into a historical masterpiece. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, the 1955 Wheat Penny serves as a reminder that even the smallest coin can hold an enormous secret, that behind every seemingly ordinary object lies a universe of hidden possibilities. And that's what makes coin collecting so endlessly fascinating. Every coin has a past, every scratch has meaning, and every error has the potential to become a legend. So the next time you hold a penny in your hand, look closely, because history could be staring right back at you, waiting to reveal its hidden worth, just like the 1955 Wheat Penny that turned a tiny piece of copper into a $5 million miracle that continues to captivate collectors and dreamers around the world, forever reminding us that mistakes can sometimes be the most valuable things of all. Last 1958 Wheat Penny. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unexpected fortunes hiding in your pocket change. And today we're uncovering the incredible story of the 1958 Wheat Penny that has stunned collectors across the globe by being valued at a jaw-dropping $6 million due to its unbelievable errors and minting mistakes that have made it one of the most mysterious and desirable coins in numismatic history. Now, most people would overlook a 1958 penny as just another common copper coin from the late wheat cent era, but certain rare variations of this Denver minted coin have turned ordinary pocket finds into millionaire-making treasures. The 1958 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most productive mints in the U.S., producing over 800 million wheat pennies that year, but hidden among that massive production were a few coins that slipped through with fascinating minting flaws, errors so rare and so dramatic that they completely defy the expectations of a normal cent, making them worth far more than their humble face value. These mistakes often result from double dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors, or die misalignments, but in the case of this particular $6 million 1958 Wheat Penny, experts believe it features an extraordinary combination of double die obverse characteristics, die deterioration doubling, and possibly even a transitional or planchet anomaly that makes it truly one of a kind. Collectors have been drawn to this coin for decades, not just for its rarity, but for the story behind how it could even exist. How a supposedly routine minting year like 1958 could produce a penny with errors so bizarre that even seasoned numismatists have debated their origin. Imagine a penny where Lincoln's portrait looks subtly doubled. His eye appears shadowed, as if struck twice. The date, 1958, shows faint but visible doubling, especially on the 5 and 8, and the mint mark, D, is slightly tilted or repunched, creating a ghost-like second impression beneath it. These are the hallmarks that have driven collectors wild and led to sky-high auction bids. In addition, the reverse of this coin sometimes displays doubling on the lettering of 1 cent and United States of America, which is incredibly rare for the Denver Mint because most major double dies from the 1950s are associated with the Philadelphia Mint. This unusual Denver variety may have resulted from die fatigue, improper hubbing, or a misalignment between the working dies and hubs during the minting process. Such errors often occurred when the mint was trying to keep up with heavy production demands, leading to overlooked mistakes that only sharp-eyed collectors decades later could identify. Another fascinating theory about this 1958 penny's astronomical value is the possibility that it was struck on a leftover planchet from a different composition year, such as a 1943 steel set planchet or a transitional bronze alloy mix from the 1940s or early 1960s. A composition error would explain both the coin's unique appearance and its rarity, as transitional errors are among the most valuable in all of numismatics. If a 1958 penny were accidentally struck on a foreign or experimental planchet, its weight, color, or magnetic properties would differ slightly from a normal bronze penny, creating intense interest among collectors and graders. Coins like that often get sent to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where they undergo metal analysis, die variety examination, and authentication, and once confirmed, they can reach staggering prices at auction, as in this case where the rare 1958 penny fetched $6 million due to its perfect storm of visual appeal, rarity, and minting intrigue. Additionally, some experts suspect the coin's surfaces display signs of a mint-made lamination error, where impurities in the metal caused a thin layer to peel or flake, adding another visual anomaly that enhances its uniqueness. Others believe the reverse might have a slightly rotated die, meaning the back design is not perfectly aligned with the front. A subtle but extremely collectible mistake that adds to the charm of such coins. When collectors combine all these potential errors, double die features, planchet oddities, rotation, and lamination, the result is a once-in-a-lifetime coin that commands the attention of the world's top numismatists and investors. But it's not just the physical errors that make this penny so special, it's also the historical context. The 1958 year marked the final production of the beloved wheat reverse design, before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. That makes every 1958 coin historically significant as the end of an era. And when you combine that symbolism with a rare Denver Mint error, the appeal becomes irresistible. Many collectors view the 1958 wheat penny as a perfect bridge between two great chapters in U.S. coinage: the classic wheat design that honored American agriculture and the modern memorial design that commemorated Lincoln's legacy. It's this emotional connection, coupled with tangible rarity, that fuels bidding wars among collectors who see not just a coin, but a piece of American history struck in error and preserved against all odds. Over the years, stories have emerged of lucky individuals finding valuable error pennies in old jars, collections, and even pocket change, and every time one of these incredible finds hits the news, it reignites the dream that maybe another $6 million penny could still be out there waiting to be discovered. The 1958 wheat penny has thus become a symbol of hope for treasure hunters and hobbyists alike. Its fame rivals that of the 1955 double die penny, or the 1943 copper cent, both of which are already legendary among collectors. In fact, some specialists compare this Denver rarity to the 1958 double-die Lincoln cent from Philadelphia, which is known to be one of the rarest and most valuable error coins ever struck, with only 3 known examples. The Denver version, however, is even more mysterious since no official documentation of such an error exists, leading some to speculate that it might have been a mint test strike, an experimental die pairing, or a deliberate overstrike by a mint worker that escaped the presses unnoticed. The intrigue surrounding it only amplifies its desirability. As with any legendary coin, condition also plays a massive role in determining value. A 1958 D penny in pristine mint state, especially with strong luster, full wheat stalks on the reverse, and crisp strike details, could easily be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars even without errors. But when such a specimen combines with verified minting mistakes, the value skyrockets beyond comprehension. Grading companies assign numerical grades on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, and error coins with high grades, such as MS65 or higher, can easily break records because their sharp details allow the errors to be more visible and dramatic under magnification. Collectors and investors often pay premiums for coins certified as authentic mint errors because it guarantees their legitimacy in a market where counterfeits sometimes circulate. Yet even among genuine coins, few can rival the mystique of the 1958 D Wheat Penny that hit the $6 million mark. It represents not just a financial value, but the excitement of discovery, the power of history, and the allure of imperfection that defines coin collecting itself. Each scratch, doubling, or misplaced element tells a story about how human craftsmanship and machine precision sometimes clash to create unexpected art. And for coin enthusiasts, that blend of rarity, mystery, and historical context is priceless. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny, take a closer look, study the date, the mint mark, the lettering, and even the tiny imperfections you might have ignored before, because just maybe, hidden among those billions of Lincoln cents, another $1 million treasure is waiting for someone like you to notice. The tale of the 1958 D Wheat Penny worth $6 million reminds us that extraordinary value often hides in the most ordinary places, and every coin tells a story that links us to the craftsmanship, history, and chance that define our nation's currency.